Hey, it's me, Mr. Rando. Let's get a look at what we got today. Okay, so I wanted to take on something a little weird today, and boy, did I get it. Okay, so many of you have seen Fritz Lang's masterpiece, M. Am I right? Maybe you have. Hopefully, you have. Did you know there was a remake? Yeah, there were okay, and I think as far as it messing with my head, I mean, outside of the obvious subject matter of the film, um, probably the thing about this movie that messed with my head the most was realizing they made a remake of Fritz Lang's movie. Yeah, no shit. But I took a few peeks at it. Uh, I didn't consider it much of anything that could be gone upon. It's like, what the hell? They remade it. What kind of crap is this? Um, Thing is, this was remade by Joseph Losey. Joseph Losey directed this movie, and I'm like, what the hell? This guy's a good director. Anybody seen Figures in the Landscape? I say that had nothing to do with his collaborations with Harold Pinter, etc., etc., etc. Um, this guy is a this guy is a great filmmaker, and so there's that, and the Peter Lorre role is played by David Wayne. Now, for me, I remember David Wayne back in the late '70s, maybe mid to late '70s, when he was playing TV roles, like he was playing Ellery Queen's dad on the Ellery Queen show. Um, Good little character actor, but it's kind of like okay, and he's standing in Peter Lorre's shoes. Jesus Christ. Um, I kind of spot watched a few bits of it, and I was kind of bewildered. But after a while, but wait, it looks like they actually, yeah, go figure. Losey's a good filmmaker. This is a good looking movie, and so I'm like, what the hell? An American remake of M. I had no idea this existed. So eventually, I was just kind of drawn in to watch the damn thing. And okay, it hits the same story as the German film Beat for Beat, except it's set in LA. And, you get all the shots of LA, you get that diagonal, like trolley that goes up through the streets. You see that in a lot of the old noirs. Yeah, that's there. Bunch of old stuff like that. It's follows the whole story beat for beat. It's the city is paralyzed in fear over this child killer that's running around killing little kids. And in this particular case, uh, their the big clue is their shoes are all missing, and it's the same thing. The police are baffled; no one knows what to do, and so they pretty much start pushing the underworld, pushing all the criminals, and eventually they say, "Listen, our businesses can't handle this. We've got to take this by the horns, and we've got to actually find this killer ourselves." And so the cops and the underworld figures, and the delinquents out on the streets and everything, kind of all congeal, and they all kind of zoom in on the same guy simultaneously, and they end up getting him. The criminals end up getting him first. He gets cornered in a warehouse. The whole thing where he's hiding out in the warehouse actually gets a lot scarier in some ways than the original because he actually absconds with a little girl and has her up in the warehouse with him. And the whole time you're just scared shitless that he's going to kill this little girl. Spoilers, he doesn't. She ends up getting away. But it is actually, I mean, the entire big brain blarg of this film is just basically why the hell did they make this? But by the same token, it's like it's good. It's well done. And David Wayne, there are so many things I need to go into. I kind of wonder if there isn't studio interference in this thing. You get, I don't know, it's just like I was talking about back a couple of episodes ago. I was talking about the weird tonal whiplash of like in the Untold Story with the psychotic murderer whose crimes are really awful with these stupid goofball cops who are looking for him. The tonal whiplash here kind of comes in a somewhat similar fashion. The cops are actually fairly serious, but at some point in the first 15-20 minutes of it, Jim Backus, of all people, pops up as the mayor. Jim Backus, I'm talking, Thurston Howell III, Mr. Magoo, that guy. And he is just, he just comes on and he's just kind of going off. And he's basically like a, kind of like serving up some vaudeville action in this thing. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? How does this belong in this movie? And he's just like, just comes in, he's rattling on about, you aren't doing anything, you aren't using your noodle. He's telling you, berating these cops for not solving the case, and meanwhile he hasn't got much of an idea himself. And but he just goes on, round up all the tin horns, all the punks and the tin horns. And he's just going off ragtime about the punks and the tin horns. He literally says that 2 or 3 times. And it's just, punks and tin horns. Shit. But other than that, kind of the whole weird thing, the way, I don't know, the way it's framed, I don't know, for American audiences, I don't think they ever come out and say in the Fritz Lang version that the character is assaulting the kids. I don't think there's any of that being mentioned or implied, but by the same token, it's not being talked about, and so to me, the implication is there that that's happening. And Laurie's whole take on it is just, I can't help myself. With this, the cops make it clear in their dialogue that that's not happening. But when you get to know the killer in the film, in the American remake, it's clear, he's got this whole other pathology, like, my mother showed me about the evil world of men, and I've got to protect these children from the men. And he keeps drawing these parallels between birds and little girls. And just, I think at one point he's sitting in an outdoor restaurant having a drink. Having a drink of alcohol, and he obviously needs it. He's pretty messed up. And this little bird's just kind of sitting around on the patio. He grabs this little bird, puts it on the table, and is making like he's going to hurt it. And then finally it just gets off the table and he just falls down weeping. And he just kind of has this whole parallel between the birds and the little girl and the evil, awful world of men that he has to save them from. And And so he creates his own little parallel. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like Holden Caulfield if he was a serial murderer, which is different, I guess. Uh, Phone's going off. But so there's that. And then by the same, it's just like, he's like, so it's like, he wants to be the catcher in the rye, basically, or the killer in the rye, as it were. But it's well made. It's good to look at. I don't know. Just it's kind of like the American cinema or the Hollywood kind of intruding on and kind of mucking up the works a little bit. That kind of like, yeah, maybe this movie should not have been made. But David Wayne is actually tremendous in this role. My biggest complaint about him is he's not Peter Lorre, but fantastic portrayal, just great edgy thing. You got Jim Backus clowning his ass off. You got a young Raymond Burr, pre-Godzilla even, and he's playing like this heavy among the gangsters who eventually bring him to justice, or at least corral him at one point. And it's worth a look. It's actually, I got to question whether the thing should have actually ever been made, but at the same time, I kind of have to look at it and say, it's way better than I would have expected. So, it's M Remake 1951. Pretty obscure as far as I've known. I mean, here I am, 63 years old. I just saw it for the first time. I can't say a whole lot bad about it. It's not easy to find, apparently. You can find it right on YouTube. Anyway, check it out if you get a free minute or 90 or whatever. But, yeah. Not bad for what it is.